It is with great pleasure that I get to announce that I am covering Dragon Ball New Hope. Finally, I know you guys are thinking, what took you so long? Well, it's been a busy year for Dragon Ball and I cover a lot of different things, but now I want to go ahead and actually read a Dragon Ball fan manga that has a lot of chapters, and this, I think it's up to chapter 18 or above. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this, and I know you guys are excited. I got a lot of positive feedback from the video I made a couple days ago reviewing the fan animation of Dragon Ball New Hope. I'm gonna leave a link to that in the description below so you guys can go ahead and check it out. But yes, I am excited to jump into this. But before I do want to ask you guys a question. What do you believe would happen immediately afterwards if Cell had won the Cell games? Give me your answer in the comment section below. Let's jump in. The story truly begins with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan coming out of nowhere after the death of Android 16. Then we skip a little ahead and we see Goku using instant transmission on Cell so that way he doesn't destroy the planet, because Cell cannot destroy Gohan. He cannot take him out. He cannot fight him one-on-one. So far, history is essentially the same. And poor King Kai, it took him forever to get his house back after this and to come back to life, but this is the moment that ended it. And so I love the artwork on this manga already. It looks exactly like Dragon Ball Z's manga, but it's not a ripoff or a copy. It's doing its own thing and more following the anime than anything. Cell is revived and then comes back to life. At this moment, this juncture, he uses instant transmission to go back to Earth and he immediately kills Trunks, the catalyst to the entire Dragon Ball Z Android storyline. Without him, there's nothing. And to be honest, Trunks really changes the future for a lot of storylines, so he is literally the variant here, and he gets killed by Cell, so he doesn't do any more pesky changing the timeline or anything like that. Realistically, Cell took out one of the most powerful characters, and we all know that this prompts Vegeta to jump into action and attack Cell, give him everything he has. And honestly, this is a few panels here where he's attacking Cell, shooting him with Ki Blast, and just going absolutely berserk on him. We do get this interesting little conversation here, or mention from Krillin here, that he says, "That was close. Vegeta's power level has skyrocketed. How is it possible?" Meaning that Vegeta actually did get stronger in this interaction, like the pain of losing Trunks really pushed his power beyond its limits, and he tried to use all of that to take out Cell. But we know that that isn't exactly what happened, but now from this story's perspective, we know that the Vegeta didn't just attack Cell with his normal power, he actually got a power boost. Even Piccolo doubles down on it and says that Vegeta, his rage had him break through his limits, which is stuff that we've covered in depth here on the channel when it comes to Saiyans and how easily, or I mean relatively easily, they break their limits from time to time. But ultimately this is for not because Cell didn't even take any battle damage whatsoever and knocks out Vegeta. So regardless of how powerful Vegeta had gotten in that moment, Cell was ultimately stronger. As pathetic as usual, Vegeta, your sadly trespassed son would be ashamed of you. And this causes Vegeta to get another jump in his ki and his battle power, and he attacks Cell again, this time actually dealing a significant strike on him, showing that even though Cell is at a little bit higher than Super Saiyan 2 level, at least in this iteration, Vegeta at Super Saiyan was able to breach that chasm. But of course, it's a blink it and you miss it moment, because in the blink of an eye, Vegeta gets shot down to the ground and completely taken back to base. And this is more in line with what happened in the actual Cell arc. And we got that little change, but I'm sure it's going to be very important in the future of the story, showing that even a Super Saiyan can kind of close that gap when it comes to power if they're angry enough. Now, Cell being upset with the fact that Vegeta even got one hit in on him like this, he ends up deciding that he needs to take out the trash, and he shoots like a very small missile, but I'm assuming with Vegeta being knocked out like this, it's going to be something that's going to eradicate him and completely destroy him right then and there. And so Gohan decides to try to save Vegeta, and this is what screws up the future. Well, I was not expecting that. killing you will be easier than I thought. And Gohan's arm is completely shattered. So that blast even was strong enough to damage Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, but again, Gohan did have his guard down. It was his blind spot. He wasn't ready for that sort of blast. He was literally just blocking Vegeta with his body. We skip now to one of the most legendary moments in all of Dragon Ball, which is the Kamehameha clash between Cell and Gohan. This is by far one of the coolest moments in all of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. Definitely iconic, and I'm curious to see how the story is going to change in this moment right here, if this is exactly where it happens, because I know that this story is essentially a what if Cell actually survived going into the Buu arc. So I know that much so far. I want to see exactly what Cell does and how Gohan loses in this fight. You need to focus, Gohan. I know you have the power in you. You need to let it all out. I'm trying, Dad. I don't have any strength left. My body, it's hurting too much. Sorry, Dad. He's become way too strong. I can't hold on anymore. And that's my best Gohan, Kid Gohan, Teen Gohan impersonation. That's as best as I can do. But ultimately, this scene is in the anime and in the manga. Not the part where Gohan is essentially kind of giving up. In the middle of the fight, he's way too strong. I can't do anything against him. If I try to fight him anymore, my body is just going to start breaking down. At this point now, he's taking far too much damage. And I think that is why that little change needed to be necessary, where Vegeta did get that punch in, because the attack that Cell must have hit Vegeta with was probably a little stronger than what it was in the main timeline in the Dragon Ball Z manga and anime, because in the anime he was just kind of trying to destroy Vegeta, like relatively like get him out of the way, he's done, like he's get him out of here type of thing. But in here he got punched in the face after Vegeta his ki skyrocketed, meaning that, you know, Cell's a little bit more pissed off that he drew a little bit of blood. All that for a drop of blood, so he probably hit him with something a little bit stronger out of anger, and that is why Gohan is a little bit more messed up, and he probably took a way stronger shot in his left arm than he did in the original timeline, which I think is a great change. If we were going to change it, that would be the direction I would go. That would be the area that I would change, because that changes literally everything. That makes Gohan so much more susceptible to essentially being killed off in this moment in a believable way, because if he was just killed off and it was still the same story, it wouldn't work. Why did he get destroyed? What was the difference in the main timeline? But in this, we know where the difference is. Vegeta got that extra hit on Cell, so Cell probably packed a little bit more punch in that attack, and that is why Gohan is far more damaged than he was originally, which I think is fantastic. And this is reflected on Vegeta and what he's saying next. He's overpowering him. He's no match. Damn you, Cell. It is the end, which is not what happened originally. Like, even right here, Vegeta isn't even trying to shoot Cell in the back like he did in the anime, because I'm assuming he realizes that it's all over, because Gohan does not have the power to defeat Cell in this moment. And in the original timeline, he knew that Gohan did have the power, just like Goku thought. But here, everyone's realizing that it's basically game over and Cell is going to win. With that extra bit of energy and no interruptions whatsoever on Cell's side, this is essentially, I'm assuming, the end of Gohan. Like, he is about to die right here. And so here is what it looks like if that giant Kamehameha ball ended up going towards Gohan's side. You see that it is overpowering, it is huge, and definitely something that would easily destroy Gohan and tear him apart. And that looks to be exactly what is going on here, with everybody being blown away, and you can tell it's far stronger. And right here you can see this is the end of Gohan and Goku. His sacrifice was in vain in this situation, because he thought that him sacrificing himself was going to end it. But Cell, he's built different. He's not the same as every other villain. He is able to regenerate like Piccolo, so yeah, Goku kind of messed up here. Goku actually messed up here for the entire universe, all the universes, and now Gohan has been killed by Cell right in front of his father's eyes. And I love the way that Goku's drawn here. Look at his eyes. I wish they would do that more often, like Dragon Ball Super, or even I'm hoping it comes back in Daima when someone gets knocked out or they're looking at something in shock in Dragon Ball and in Dragon Ball Z and the Dragon Ball manga. Their eyes would be whited out like this because they are in a state of shock, which I think is really cool visualization, that they are like completely dumbfounded with what's happened, or they're knocked out and there's nothing there. This is actually pretty sad that like his last words were dad, because his dad decided to not only leave him on the battlefield and let him get beat up, but also give Cell a senzu bean. So I would imagine that giving Cell a senzu bean probably is a lot worse in this aspect, in this universe, than it would have been in ours, because obviously Cell ultimately wins here. So Goku is probably really thinking about him giving Cell that senzu bean and being like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. The Kamehameha wave so powerful that you see it from space, and the Z fighters are all in a state of shock. And this is exactly 110%, I put 10 toes down on this, exactly what Cell would say after killing Gohan. I guarantee you he had this one loaded up in the chamber, and that is father and son reunited, which is a great line, to be honest with you, and it's definitely a banger from Cell. So yeah, this does not look good for the rest of the Z fighters. Not to mention that Chi-Chi would have seen that from her house, because this whole thing was being televised, and Goku here, Goku is apologetic. I'm so sorry, you guys. It's all my fault, because it is his fault in this. And I'm hoping that the weight of responsibility and exactly what ended up happening because of his actions, I'm hoping that guilt is something that follows Goku in this story a little bit more. And I want to see what kind of impact it has on him going forward. Oh, I think this is one of the saddest things I've seen from Dragon Ball all year, and it is Gohan saying hi to King Yama. You know that Gohan would have earned his body back. Honestly, the artwork here is so great. It looks like Toriyama drew this. This looks straight from Toriyama. But, I mean, I guess Gohan is off in heaven or in the afterlife. But let's go ahead and see what happens next. In the next video, I'm going to be covering what is going to happen to the rest of the Z fighters and Earth, and what is Gohan and the dead Z fighters going to do about someone like Cell, who can use instant transmission to basically go anywhere they want and go around the entire universe of Universe 7. I want to see how that plays out, and if anything from Dragon Ball Super is going to be added into the story as well. I'm excited to cover it. I've been wanting to cover a Dragon Ball fan manga for quite some time, and I think this one has enough chapters and enough hype and intrigue behind it that I definitely want to jump in and review it. But let me know what you guys think of this Dragon Ball fan manga in the comment section below.
Subscribe for more content. Or perish.